Rhinohide Tailgate Protector protects your rear. G'day Jaffa Adventures, Terry King here. Welcome to the channel. Some of you may have watched a video where I detailed the Rhinohides. I did a bit of an installation and a review of this particular product. And something interesting happened after the release of that video. The CEO from Rhinohide reached out to me and actually said, Terry, that was a pretty decent review. Thanks for the feedback, and he said that he would take on board some of the criticisms I had on the product, which I thought was really cool. The other thing that he did is he said, hey Terry, we've got these back windscreen protectors, and was wondering whether you would want to do a review on one of them. And I said, oh, listen Mark, I really don't do paid reviews. That's just not my jam, mate. And he said, no, he said, I'm not looking for any social media review or anything. He said, I just want to send you the product and get your honest feedback on how you think it performs. So I gave that some thought and said, so listen, how do I review this particular product and not run up against, I guess, my moral compass? Because if you watch this channel on a regular basis, you know that I've got a really strong opinion on reviews. And that is simply this. If you get a product for free, or if your review is paid, it's biased. I don't care how many people swear up and down and black and blue that my review is not biased by either getting this product free or getting the review paid for, but a shit ton do. And I just don't buy that, mate. If you're on the take, however that take looks, you're biased. What's the old saying? Whose bread I eat, whose song I sing. Anyway, I thought, how can I do a review on this particular thing and not be on the take? And this is what I've come up with. Rhinohide has sent me out their product. I'm going to install it on the cruiser. I'm heading off for a couple of months into the WA wilderness. I'll do a review on it during that trip. And after I get back from that trip, I'll give that rear windscreen protector away to one of you viewers. That way it's pretty transparent that I'm getting nothing out of this, and the beneficiaries of this are simply you guys watching. Now I think where this product would really come into its own is if you're towing. And again, for those watching the channel, you know that I don't tow that much, but I have towed on a few occasions. Specifically, my motorbike out to the Simpson Desert on several occasions. And even with that limited amount of towing that I've done, I've still caught some rocks in the back windscreen here. This is the trailer that I used for towing my bike out to the Simo, and have a look at the leading edge here. That's just peppered by gibbers that have been shot up by the truck and hit the trailer. And in my case, what happens is these gibbers hit this lovely inflated balloon here and bounce straight back at the car. And that's how I've put a couple of hits in the windscreen on my 200. In my 80 series, the car I owned before this one, I have actually broken one of the windows in the back. It was a poverty pack that had the barn doors, and I broke the large glass window doing exactly that. Rock coming up off the trailer, bang, into the back window, shattered it. So let's have a look at this product. I've not seen it before. This is a first for me and possibly for you too. So what do we got here? We got the screen itself. I don't know what type of material it is, but it's actually very flexible. It's not like a hard perspex. And I reckon that's probably gonna work in its favor, because if a rock hits this, it's going to deflect off a lot easier than if it was a hard perspex. It would probably crack the perspex, not too dissimilar from what it would do with glass. But have a look at that, I can bend that in a complete horseshoe. These little fasteners here are exactly the same as on the Rhinohide panel. I've already done a detailed video on that if you want to get your head around these things. And of course they give you the little key or the tool to work those clips. Okay, I'm going to install this on the back windscreen. Now the first thing I'm going to do is clean the glass. And you know what? I haven't looked at the Rhinohide instructions on how to install this, because instructions are for wimps, right? So if you want to learn how to do this properly, maybe read the instructions. I'm going to back myself to get it right because I did the Rhinohides. They were pretty straightforward, so I think I've got form on how to fit this sort of stuff, but we'll never know until I'm finished. All right, that glass is cleaned. There's a bit of residue on that glass. I don't know whether that's chips or whether that's just oxidization. But I'm going to get a clay bar and see if I can take some of that stuff off. This is just a Bowden's clay bar, but I'd imagine any brand will do. If you don't know about clay bars or you haven't used them to clean your paint, they're a game changer. These things didn't exist 20 years ago, at least not that I was aware of. Certainly not in the amateur arena. wow, do they work. Just need a little bit of lubricant. I'm using Windex, but only because I got Windex here. Normally I would just use a little bit of soapy water or even just a little bit of water on its own. And you just lightly rub that clay bar over the surface, and then I'll feel that compared to what I haven't done. And it is picking some of that stuff off. So there are some impurities on that glass. So I'll keep going. You don't need to press hard. You just rub that clay bar over the surface very, very lightly. And it picks up all of the crap and sticks it inside of this clay. And you get this discoloration in here where you can see that it's pulled stuff out of your paintwork, or in my case, out of the glass. If you listen carefully, I don't know whether the microphone can pick it, but it changes note when you get stuff cleaned. When you first hit a spot, it's got a real rough sound as it's picking the crap up. And then as it pulls the stuff off, that rough sound disappears. That's betterer. Smooth as a baby's bottom. That should allow those little Rhinohide 3M stickers to stick a little bit better on this windscreen. Okay, let me mock fit this up. Clearly the windscreen wiper's got to be out of the road. And it is kind of form-fitted, which is kind of cool. I get that hump perfectly lined around that windscreen wiper. I check the gap on that side versus the gap over on this side. It's perfect. There's a little bit of space between it hitting the paint on the bottom and this wind deflector on the top. So I'll just center it between the two. And there's where this sucker is going to sit. Now with the Rhinohide system, you pulled off this little 3M backing tape. You get everything lined up before you stick that sucker down, because it's a one-way trip. Left to right looks good. Top to bottom looks good. Stick it down. Hold for 60 seconds. Okay, 1 down, 8 to go. Now I'm going to jump over to this other side, peel that little backing tape off, get this thing scooched top to bottom, whack that one down. See you in 60 seconds. Okay, I got my 2 outside ones. Now I'm going to do these inside ones. And to do that, I'll use the little tool, undo that one, so I can reach back here and get that tape off. Looks like I got to do them both. This is what I'm doing, just peeling this backing tape off that little sticky dot. Now make sure that that doesn't touch and stick on me. Okay, I got that down. And now the last of the top ones, down she goes. All right, I got my 4 top ones. These 2 here are a bugger, and I can give some feedback to Rhinohide, so stand by on those. But let me get these bottom 6 down now. And they should be a lot easier. Pop that one down. To get these tabs off of these ones that I can't actually reach, I've just got myself a little pointy scribe, and I can grab that tab with that pointy scribe. Here she comes. All right, got it. I'll stick that sucker down. 3 to go. I'll see you after I get these 3 done. Okay, that's now sitting in place. Now with the Rhinohide panel, they recommend taking the panel off, letting these dots cure for 24 hours before hanging the weight on that panel. So that's what I'll do. Now taking these clips off is easy enough. You pop the key in the little lock, turn the lock, and they're free. Now one issue that I've got with this panel, that's your Rhinohide key. And you can see that it fouls with the top of the spoiler. And you can't really get enough purchase on it to get that off because that key is too long. I had this similar issue with a couple of these guys that sit in behind the scrub rail. The solution I had for them will work here too. I've got this little bit with the same tip as the Rhinohide. That will fit in there, no problem. Doesn't foul against that wind deflector. Then I can just get my open-ended spanner on there, give it a little bit of a twist, and undo that clip. So you can overcome it, but you got to be a little bit innovative. So if I was Rhinohide, there's no need to have those dots that high up. You could shift them down another inch or so. And if you did that, that key would clear. So get these 2 center ones, boys, shift them down an inch, then your customers don't have to come up with a solution on how they're going to get those undone with your key. Second one, pop it in there, get my open-ended spanner, give it a twist. She's unlocked. That should be all of them. Now I'm just going to clean off the back side of this sucker, just because it's got fingerprints on the inside from me doing the installation. And this is what the back of your vehicle looks like with the panels off. You're left with these little dots stuck on your windscreen. If you can't live with that, this probably isn't the product for you, but it certainly doesn't worry me. Here's a teeny tiny point for Rhinohide, and I'm just being super picky here. But see these little clips? See how they got the little metal pin in them? Another one there. You can see that they're all oriented in a different manner. So I don't know, Rhinohide guys, when you're installing these onto your panel, is there any way you could get those all oriented in the same direction? That would be really cool. Like I said, I'm being picky here, but some customers are like that, aren't they? Now I'll pop this panel back in place just to see how easy it is to install once you got your sticky bits in there. Easy enough to get it in place. Get my little key guy. Yep, piece of piss, no drama installing that, except for these two suckers. All right, let's peel this plastic off, see what she looks like. That was satisfying. To be honest, if you weren't looking really hard, you'd never even know that was there. So that's pretty cool. You got that little bit of an air gap between the panel and the glass. And this panel is called Impact Modified Acrylic. Yes, I looked that up on the website. So that's cool. When the stone comes off whatever you're towing, you got that little bit of an air gap to absorb some of that velocity before that thing impacts. All right, I'm gonna pull that panel off for 24 hours, let these things cure, and then reinstall it for good. So how do I score this for installation? Not too bad. I'll give Rhinohide an 8 out of 10 on that one. I would have scored you 9.5 out of 10 if you had those two dots a little bit lower so that it didn't foul with the spoiler. And that other 0.5 out of 10 is the orientation of these little guys. In terms of the product and its functionality, I'm leaving in a few days' time for a couple of months in the WA Outback, and I'll give this thing a good little rundown, keep you informed on how I'm going there. But I do like the quality of the product, and if it's anything like the Rhinohide panels themselves, I don't think that's going to be giving me any dramas. Just got back from a 5,000 kilometer round trip journey through the Flinders Ranges, and the problem with the old magnetic panels flying off and also marring the paint is a non-issue with these things. These little clips have been absolutely brilliant. They hold the panel in place and they do not move. So my expectation on the rear windscreen with these guys is going to be exactly the same. Oh, one other little bugbear of mine, Mr. Rhinohide. I'm not a big fan of branding on my products. So if you want to put the branding on your product, maybe install that as a sticker so people like me can peel it off, and other people that like to display it can leave it on. So I'm heading out into the bush. I'll check back in with you in about 1 month's time. So I've had this rear Rhinohide windscreen protector on here for a great number of kilometers. This has gone across the Simpson Desert, across the Tanami, onto the Gib, and what can I tell you about that? It has not moved at all. I thought maybe these connectors might allow it to sag a little bit, but it hasn't. It's remained rock solid, so a big tick there. If you want to see out your back windscreen, forget it. Even if you clean off this outside, the dust sits in between the windscreen and that protector. For me, it's not an issue because I got shit stacked to the roof into the back of the car, so I can't see out anyway. But if you actually use your rear vision mirror and your rear windscreen, that will be a problem for you. You have to pull him off and clean that out pretty regularly. A day's driving on the dust will clog that up completely like that. So I'm back from the Simo, Tanami, Gib River road trip, about 10,000 kilometers in all. And that rear windscreen protector has been sensational. Has not moved on those little dots at all. It stayed completely stationary. And the back glass is in perfect nick. Now, to be fair, I wasn't towing on the trip. I'm gonna leave this on for a little bit, do a little bit of towing on that box trailer that you saw earlier, and in a later video, I'll feed back the results of that. But up to this point, I'm very impressed with this product. I'm gonna get this video out so that the Rhinohide guys have that feedback and can either action it or ignore it. Is this product right for you? Only you can tell. Until next time, keep your shiny side up. Bye now.